This is the Nathan Ivey Show. Get ready to be engaged. Get ready to be informed. Get ready to be enraged by the man City Beat magazine called a talk radio rebel. And your host, now back to the show.
Now, pirates, draw them your antenna. Come good and show them what you can do.
Welcome back. Or the way I like to think of it, back from my hiatus, politicking on the latest. Today is Friday, April 7th, 2017. Good morning, choppers. Welcome back to the Nathan Ivey Show. It's a brave new world. I want to talk about all of it. Of course, today at 8 a.m., I'm scheduled to be joined by Serenthia. Yeah, she'll be my co-host for a couple of segments. I'm thinking 8 to 8:30, and she'll ride along shotgun. And we'll chat it up on everything that is on the table to be discussed. I want to discuss the nuclear option. I want to talk about the military strike authorized by your president, Donald Trump. Here we go. Ooh, he's dropping bombs now. He seems more presidential. I would anticipate that you're going to see a bump in terms of a positive bump in the polling numbers for Donald Trump. It's just how we are as Americans. There are some that respond to that. Positive. That's right. Strike with your righteous military decision. I'll give you more details in just a minute. Also, this has been a very interesting week, full of ups and downs, winners and losers, Gilligans, skippers, professors, Mariannes, you know it. I want to talk about all of it. I need your Gilligan of the Week nominations, please. I need your Gilligan of the Week nominations, please. At which time, if you nominate a Gilligan and you get a here, you'll hear a sound effect. I need your Hero of the Week nominations. I've got mine. I'll share with you very quickly. 513-873-7134. And have you ever been shopping? Maybe you're shopping in a store that you frequent a lot, and you feel as if you're racially profiled. Damn, that damages your relationship with that store. Have you ever been confronted, like as you're walking out of a store, by a security guard or somebody, maybe a manager or somebody running out, and they say, well, did you pay for that? Did you pay? Let me see your receipt. I've been in that situation a couple times. It's never good. Because I take a little attitude about it, especially if I feel like I've been racially profiled. Like if I'm running out of a store, like not running, if I'm walking out of a store, I've just made a purchase. So as I'm walking out, I'm thinking, damn, did I really just spend this money? So I'm not really having a conversation about it in most cases, or in some cases, unless it's essentials. And then somebody comes running out of the store like, excuse me, sir, did you pay for that? Did I? Yeah, damn right I paid for it. I'm sitting here with buyer's remorse as I'm walking to the car. Yeah, damn right I paid for it. You ever been in that situation before? How do you respond? How do you respond? Do you just, you know what? Yeah, I paid for it. Here's my receipt. Or do you say, yeah, I paid for it, and you don't show them receipt? Do you raise your voice loudly and say, listen, call the cops, roll back the tape? And I want to share a personal story with you this morning, something that just happened to me in the last 24 hours. And I was heated. I'm still heated about it. How dare you ask me for a receipt? I'm 6'4", and you don't see me inside the store? And the security guard's like, yeah, I saw you, man. I saw you, but the manager, he didn't see you. The manager? You're the security guard. And in many of these establishments, they have it now with technology that if you don't get it swiped, then it will trigger an alarm. I've been in many establishments, and you see somebody walk out, and I mean, I've been in establishments where people just, you know, they're walking out and then the alarm goes off and they take off. Like, they got something. And I've been in establishments where people walking out and the alarm goes off and they kind of look around like, what in the hell? I just paid for this. You can kind of read them and they just keep on walking on like, okay, everything's good. Have you ever been in a situation like that? I'll share my personal experience with you in a second. But first, 513-873-7134. Tracy writes, you respond by getting a refund. That's right. That's right. I'm with you on that. Again, Serenthia is scheduled to join me at 8 a.m. this morning, and she'll ride shotgun as we talk about all issues, people, politics, and pleasure. As I read your chat and we discuss issues, she may even have some ideas herself. Again, stick around for that. Hopefully it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. She seems to have a great personality, and that's at 8 a.m. today. Along the way, many things to discuss, man. This has been one hell of a week. This week, we saw the nuclear option was deployed. Senate Republicans deploy the nuclear option. That damn McConnell, that damn Mitch McConnell. McConnell is such a Mitch. Mitch McConnell. Senate Republicans deployed the nuclear option to clear a path for Gorsuch. And that was because the Democrats filibustered the nomination of Gorsuch. And to me, this is completely unfair and completely out of bounds. And I largely blame the Republican Party because, and I'm amazed that American voters allowed them to get away with it. They really did. Say what you want about Donald Trump. It's one thing to be in the White House. He's there for 4 years. He's gone. OK, that's one thing. It's yet another to leave a lasting imprint on the fabric of American society for the next generation. And I don't care what anybody says. I have not heard one good argument as to why we should trust anyone that Donald Trump nominates. I mean, let's look at it already. Clearly, some of the people that he put in charge during his campaign were in communication. It looks very, very, very bad. It looks very improper, self-serving, unpatriotic. So clearly there was some bad decisions made there. Clearly the decision to put, Flynn as your national security advisor was a bad mistake. Clearly it was a mistake to have Steve Bannon be a part of and be one of your top advisors. Clearly, because now he's been taken off of a critical intelligence board, which suggests that he never should have been there. Clearly, Kellyanne Conway should never have been an official cable television spokesperson for the Trump administration, because where is she now? Clearly. So I don't really trust Donald Trump's decision making, quite honestly. I don't trust it. And a lot of his cabinet picks, I don't trust any of them either, quite honestly. But now we're supposed to trust his Supreme Court nominee. Do you understand how important the Supreme Court is? See, maybe one good thing that will come from this is that for folks who are a part of the electorate, but yeah, they don't really focus on Supreme Court. Like for Republicans, Supreme Court is everything. That means a big deal to Republicans, especially to those kind of folks that vote like in Republican primaries. Oh, man, they've been whipped into a fury. They've been energized. They've been operationalized when it comes to the Supreme Court. And a lot of it has to do with a woman's right to choose or curtailing the federal government's ability to regulate big money interests. They're all over it. Democrats, black folks, I mean, that's not really something that, let me talk from the black experience, but that's not something that a lot of black people have ever really brought up to me. Now, some have. I know my listeners are at top of the game, man. They're ahead of the curve. So my listeners are going to be a little bit different. But the general, every day, they're not really worried about the Supreme Court, but they will be now. So the Republicans, get this, are now guilty of doing yet another thing they claimed that Barack Obama did. He was so wrong. Remember when the Republicans tried to say, well, Barack Obama rammed this down our throats. He wouldn't even work with us. That was a damn lie. It's a damn lie. I couldn't believe that the media eventually fell into it. But it just goes to show, if you say something long enough, if you keep saying something over and over again, some weak-minded people out there go for it. And then you get people who are sort of medium weak-minded. And then you'll get some of the people who don't classify as traditionally as being weak-minded. And they'll all fall into that nonsense. And that's what happened with this myth that Barack Obama tried to ram Obamacare through the Congress. That's not true. I remember watching hours of face-to-face debate between the Republicans, between Barack Obama and people like Paul Ryan and others, Mitch McConnell and others. It was just that the ideas that the Republicans had about health care were so preposterous, and they were such an obstructionist party, that he had nowhere else to go but on his own. He had nowhere else to go. There was no support. There was no bipartisan support. The Republicans, as Mitch McConnell said the night of the election, when we first realized that Barack Obama was going to win and he had won, he said that night, I'm going to make him a one-term president. What he did not say to the American people is, we're not going to help this man do anything, and we're going to dig our feet into the ground, and we're willing to bankrupt the country. They were willing to, there were elements of the Republican Party Freedom Caucus. Did you know that some of the founding members of the Freedom Caucus are in Ohio? Did you know that? You can never discount the importance of Ohio. I've been saying it for years in terms of the nation's political fabric, influencers, big money interests. People really sleep on Ohio. They really do. You have no idea what's popping in this state. You really do. People need to wake up. We're not just a battleground state. We are the battleground state in all of these United States. And I think your vote matters everywhere. But in Ohio, I think your vote matters a little bit more. That's my humble opinion. I could be biased. I'm born and raised under these stars, under this moon, under this sun. Same constellations on the in terms of where we are on the earth as LeBron James, who should be the MVP, by the way. LeBron James should be the MVP. We got 5 games left. He should be the MVP, period. LeBron James is the MVP of the NBA. It's not James Harden. It's not Russell Westbrook. My little brother is captivated by triple doubles. Nobody's ever done that before. I don't give a damn about no triple doubles, man. I care about wins. I care about the ability to win championships, to go deep into the playoffs. And we shall see. We shall see. I tell you what, of all of the MVP candidates that are not named LeBron James, only a few of them are the experts predicting are going to be in the finals. Most of the experts are predicting that LeBron James is going to be there. And if you doubt what I'm saying, here's my age-old LeBron James MVP debate. I win all arguments with this. I've argued with all kind of people on all ages and races, and I win every argument by saying this very simply. If you doubt that LeBron James is the MVP of the NBA, then tell me, which other player out there would you trade today that would make that team as good or better than the Cleveland Cavaliers? Let me say it another way. You could trade LeBron James player to player for any other player in the NBA. Any player. Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kevin Durant. Matter of fact, you could take 2 of those players. And if LeBron James goes to that team, he makes that team a contender overnight. Period. Similarly, you could take any player. Like if you took Steph Curry off of the Warriors and you put him on the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Cleveland Cavaliers get worse, the Warriors get much better. If you took LeBron James off of the Cleveland Cavaliers and you put him on the Oklahoma City Thunder and you traded him for Russell Westbrook, Mr. Triple-Double, today, 2 things are going to happen. The Cleveland Cavaliers get worse and the Oklahoma City Thunder get better. They automatically become contenders with just a one-person trade. And you can do that with anybody. You could take anybody. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, James Harden. You take James Harden with that team and you trade him for LeBron James to the Cleveland Cavaliers, 2 things are going to happen. The Cleveland Cavaliers are going to get worse. And the Houston Rockets are instantly going to get better. Same thing with the Spurs. Kawhi Leonard is fabulous. If you take Kawhi Leonard right now and you put him on the Cleveland Cavaliers, you trade him one man for one man. LeBron James for Kawhi Leonard. The Spurs get better. And the Cavs get worse. So how could he not be the MVP? It's just logic. It's just logic, y'all. I know NBA fans agree. What will the nuclear homage option mean for future partisan relations? The cable news folks are saying that this is the end of partisanship. Now, here's what that means. It also means that if someone retires on the Supreme Court during the next 4 years, Donald Trump is going to have a chance to nominate yet another person for the Supreme Court. And it's going to be an easier path for him to get that person on the Supreme Court now that the nuclear option has been employed or deployed. Is this good for the politics of the country? Ponder that. 513-873-7134. Now, locally, Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters has spoken out. Now, we spent some time this week talking about the case over in Walnut Hills. Just terrible. A man was killed after he allegedly struck a car. And the father of a young boy whose moments right after the terrible situation were caught on a phone call that somebody made. Who made that phone call to 911? Was arrested. He was charged with homicide and felonious assault. And within the last 24 hours, it was reported in local news by the Hamilton County prosecutor that he doesn't believe that the father actually committed the crime. And actually killed the man. And we actually came to that same conclusion from kind of listening to the tape. Like the guy said, the guy didn't know that the phone call was being recorded. And yet you hear him on the recording saying, these other guys just blasted him. He's in that car where they're dead. What? And I'm sure they're putting pressure on him right now. Matter of fact, it was in the news after our conversation yesterday. And you can read between the lines. They're going to put pressure on him to name the individuals that actually killed that man. And if they're dangling 15 years in front of you, like I told you yesterday, La Cosa Nostra told on one another. And they took a blood oath. Are you going to do 15 years for some dudes you grew up with? Because you smoked weed together and used to go down to the House of Love or wherever you went to? Hell no. No. We'll see what happens. Here's my number again as we break. 513-873-7134. Again, 513-873-7134. All I ask is that you open your mind before you open your mouth. I'm Nathan Ivey. I'm live, I'm local, and I'm vocal. Stay tuned. I want to tell my story to you. I want you to know what happened to me within the last 24 hours. We'll talk about all of it right after this.
With the Bloomberg Urban Report, I'm Donna Wilson. The Labor Department releases its monthly jobs report this morning. An economist expected to show 180,000 jobs were created last month, and they predict the national jobless rate will remain at 4.7%. The black jobless rate stands at 8.1%. On job diversity, a study finds that racial and gender hiring practices in college sports declined from the previous year and still lags behind those in professional sports. The annual report card from the Institute for Diversity and Ethics in Sport gave college sports a grade of C+ for its racial hiring and a C for its gender hiring. The report shows opportunities for coaches of color remain a significant problem. And Route 21, the teen clothing chain, is preparing to file for bankruptcy as soon as this month. Route 21 has seen a fall-off in mall traffic.
My number 2 does not look like a number 2. I don't know what to call it. Is there a number 3?
Table for 4, please. Anything close to the restroom.
A middle seat with these stomach problems? That's my fear of flying.
Sound like you? If it does, you could be one of the many people with a digestive condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Even if you don't know what EPI is, you might know the symptoms: frequent diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain. If you have even just one of these symptoms, you could still have EPI, because not everybody experiences EPI the same way, which is why it's so important to open up to your doctor about all your symptoms. And the good news is, EPI is manageable, so don't keep a lid on it. Go to identifyepi.com, complete the symptom checker, and use it to have a conversation with your doctor. Don't keep a lid on it. Visit identifyepi.com. Brought to you by AbbVie.
That's your Bloomberg Urban Report. I'm Donna Wilson.
The average citizen can't take off work to attend a Cincinnati City Council meeting at 2 p.m. Actually, the average citizen has never even spoken with a Cincinnati City Council member. I'm going to change that. My name is Tamaya Denard, and I'm running for Cincinnati City Council to make your government more accessible to you. We should change City Council meetings to 6 p.m. so they're easier to attend. We should have a City Council meeting in all 52 neighborhoods. And we should explore changing our charter to stagger our elections. That way, you hear from council members more than once every 4 years. Government was designed to best serve its people. It's time we made City Hall more accessible to regular folks like you and me, and not just campaign donors. To find out more, visit TamayaDenard.com. When elected, I'm going to fight for you.
Major key alert. Don't ever play yourself. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchool.com.
Stay focused. Now that's a major key alert.
Brought to you by Get School.
Trust Park, Nathan Ivey, the man, Cincinnati's only voice. And go to NathanIvey.com, man. Check him out.
Now, Pirate, draw them your antenna.
It feels good. It's a Friday.
Show them what you can
Always
do.
great to be with you on a Friday. Can you hear me? Feels good to be with you on a Friday morning. Today is Friday, April 7th, 2017. Let's get into it, shall we? Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters was in the local news cycle within the last 24 hours. And he basically put out there and confirmed what we were talking about yesterday, that he doesn't believe that Mr. Jamal Killings actually killed the 40-year-old man over in Walnut Hills who struck his son with the car. But he says, and this is what I gathered from the media, he says he believes that Mr. Killings knows who did, which kind of makes sense. He said, and we heard it on the 911 call, they killed him. He got blasted. And what is at the root of this? Is that how you show love in the hood these days? Also, more details about the Cameo nightclub shooting, of course, is in the news. And first responders are getting gratitude and respect, absolutely, for the job they do. But what does it mean for that particular demographic? No nightlife for those particular individuals if you like trap music? Can we find no place in the city of Cincinnati for trap music? But what do you think? Let me go straight to the phones. Good morning, caller. How are you?
Hey, Nathan. It's Tracy. How are you?
Hey, Tracy. Good morning.
This is totally unrelated, but I thought of you. I'm driving down Spring Grove, and I'm getting ready to cross under the viaduct. And before I got to that point, I look up in the sky, and what do I see but a big-ass chemtrail? And I was like, I took a picture of it. I'm going to put it on the Nathan Ivey, friends who like Nathan Ivey show page. But this is like really like hanging over this whole area downtown here. And it's just really annoying me this morning because this is where I work. I work like by the post office in the Dalton Western Avenue area. And I think there's actually two or three that I see. But I was just thinking about that show where we were talking about chemtrails and the possible effect that it has on communities. So that's just my little rant this morning.
Yeah, that's always unnerving because it's like, damn, I'm underneath this. I'm breathing this, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the news doesn't really report on it. I mean, I've heard nothing in local news about this. I saw it over the Coreyville area. It was like, and it looked like a cross. And it was so distinct. It looked like a cross. Huh. Okay.
How long ago was that?
It was about 2 months ago.
Okay. Well, when I get to work, I'm going to post it on the page.
Okay, and I'll post mine as well. I never posted. I'll post mine as well.
All right. You have a good weekend.
All right. You too, Tracy. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. That's Tracy. And I've had some people reach out to me, and they're interested in helping put together our first meet and greet. We need to get together, absolutely. And now that I've established a relationship with the good people at Park Place, perhaps that could be the place. I'll speak with the folks over there and see if they're interested, because I'm certainly interested. I can't wait to get together with everybody. But again, we've got our first phone call. We were 32 minutes into the show, and I know what you're thinking.
Go! Get to the chopper!
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get to the choppers. And I see Tiffany was first inside the chop shop. She writes morning. Followed by Tanika. She writes good morning, Nate and the choppers. I'm so pumped. It's Friday. Kiki writes great rising, Mr. Ivy and the choppers. And then she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 lips. And that's your top three for today, Friday. That's Tiffany, Tanika, and Kiki. And the weekend is upon us. And I know you've got plans, right? You might want to step out, check out a new spot. Well, listen, I found a new spot. It's called Park Place Restaurant. It's located at 1185 Kemper Meadow Drive off Winton Road. Stop by and check out the lunch specials from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. with a healthy choice menu. I'll come back to that. Are you looking for a cool spot to watch the game? Check out Park Place. Are you looking for a place to wind down? Check out Park Place. Looking for a place to host your meetings or events? Check out Park Place. Park Place Restaurant is the place with a good, healthy choice menu, live entertainment, and great prices. Come out on Wednesdays for half-price wine and speak your mind with spoken word on Thursdays. Park Place Restaurant has a live band every Friday with no cover charge, just food and drink specials. Park Place Restaurant, located at 1185 Kemper Meadow Drive in Forest Park, right behind Shell gas station, or you can call ahead and reserve your table at 513-825-8888. That's 513-825-8888. Park Place Restaurants, the place to eat. And Google it. Google it, and then you can take your navigation app straight to Park Place tonight, perhaps over the weekend. Take your special person, or maybe you just want to just check out a new spot because you heard of the Nathan Ivey Show. Again, one way of supporting me is supporting our advertisers and our advertisers and sponsors. And let's get back into it. I see B writes Jamal. Ashley writes, good morning, Chop Shop. Happy Friday. Kiki writes, yes, it's finally Friday. Kelly writes, good morning, Nathan. Good morning, Kelly. Charles writes, good morning, everyone. Kush writes, good morning, Nate, Serenthia, and the Choppers. Angela writes, good morning. Sluggo, X-Squad affiliate, salute. He writes, good morning, everyone. Dale writes, good morning, Friday. Good Friday morning, kings and queens by nature. Tracy writes, hi. Kush writes, get to the Choppers. So let me tell you my story. So I go to this store right within the last 24 hours. At this point, I won't tell you what store or what neighborhood it was in. And I make my purchases. And as I'm walking out, and I'm in the store about 10 minutes, I'm doing comparative shopping and things like that. And as I'm walking out of the store, the security guard happened to be a black guy. He walks up to me and he says, what was the first thing he said? I think he said, do you have a receipt? It's the first thing he said to me. He said, do you have a receipt? I said, yeah, I got a receipt. I just made those purchases. And I said, I just walked past you. So as I'm walking out, I walk right past this guy. And see, here's the deal about it. See, if you try to pull my coat, I'm going to pull yours. Dude was in there and he was talking and he really wasn't on top of his job. He was like conversing with some other workers in there. And when you're getting paid to be a security guard, being friendly is a part of your job. But you're supposed to be on top of your job. And so that's why maybe I wasn't like in his line of sight as I was walking out or whatever. But the registers are right near the exit, and he's standing right there. So at some point he says, do you have a receipt? I said, yeah, I got a receipt. Can I see it? No, you can't see my receipt. For what? He says, well, the manager, look, he says, I saw you, bro. I saw you in there. But the manager, and initially in my mind, I conjured up this image of the manager sitting up there racially profiling me because I've been out before. And sometimes when I go out, especially if it's like really, really early or late at night, I'm not really expecting to see anybody. So I'm not always camera ready. And I won't say I was dressed down, but, I was dressed down, very, very, very extremely casual. You know what I'm saying? I think I had my oldest shoes on. The tongue might have been on. One tongue might have been out of the shoe. Hey, that's me. Okay. I'm not expecting to see anybody. And I initially felt like I was being profiled. I feel like I was being racially profiled and class profiled because had I been in there with a suit on, they would have perceived me differently. And so I challenged him. I said, well, go get the manager. And then he can tell me why I can go into your store, a store I frequent quite often, by the way, be in the store for 15 minutes, walk all through the store, compare the shop. I get to the register. I make my purchases, walk right past security guard. No alarms go off. And then as I'm walking out, you want to see my receipt? No, you can't see my receipt. Go get the manager. Call the police. Do what you got to do. But I got somewhere to be, bro, is what I told him. And he's stammering around because he's between a hard rock and a hard place. And I say, well, listen, go get the manager because I would like to know why this manager is telling you this. Why is he sending you to do his dirty work? Let him come down here and explain to me why I should show you my receipt. Now, I'm cool as a fan because I know I made the purchases. What the hell do I look like stealing something that's $30? Are you nuts? So I'm super, 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 super offended by this because I feel like I was racially and class profiled. You know, the manager's sitting up there. And like I told him, I said, listen, all you got to do is run back there. He said, were you in the store? This is what he said to me. He said, were you in the store? Yes. He's like, I know you were, bro. You just walked past me. But the manager, man, I'm not playing your game. I don't have to show him shit. Nothing. All I have to do is, when we get to that point, prove that I made the purchases, which of course I can. Now, here's the rub, though. I get home, and I'm like, let me get my receipt. And I'm mad as hell. Don't have the receipt. It must have fell out somewhere. So, of course, what do? I run back to the bank where I made the purchase on the debit card and make sure I have a transaction history. And, of course, there's a transaction history of me making the purchases for that amount at that time in that store. So now I'm super righteous now because I know I got proof. And I just can't wait to reach back out and just kind of sort all these things out because I'm not here to be racially profiled by nobody. If you think I stole something, call the police. We'll sort it out. I know a lot of police officers on Cincinnati Police Force. We'll sort it out. Well, no problem. Yeah, go get them. If the manager wants to speak with me, sure, I'll speak with you. Sure. Well, I mean, what is this? I got to show you my papers? No. If we get to that point and I got to prove proof of purchase, I can prove that. That's all you need to know. Don't stop me when I'm walking out the store and you have no proof. I'm supposed to dance because your manager running you out here? No, I'm not doing it. So I'm like, are we cool? Are we finished or are we done? I didn't say that, but I wish I had now in hindsight. Are we finished or are we done? Is what I'm feeling. And as I'm driving, I'm in my little car and I'm walking out to my car. Guess who comes running out to write down my license plates? That's right, the black security guard. And I'm like, they send you out here to do this, man. I don't come to this store. I told them I don't come to this store to be racially profiled by you or anybody else. Don't class profile me because you think I'm dressed a certain way and you're going to make some assumptions about me. You're making a bad assumption. That's what I told him. I said, you don't know who people are based upon what they look like. So your only evidence is that the manager says something. The alarm don't go off now. The alarm does not go off. So clearly the only way I can make it outside these little alarms is if I've already swiped it. The only way you can swipe it is if you've made your purchases. What's the problem? So I'm supposed to stop because your manager is racially profiling me? Hell no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And if you want to take it further, let's take it further. Let's do it. Take it as far as you want to take it. And because when you know you're right, it doesn't really matter what somebody else says or accuses you of. When you can prove it, I'll take that back. Not when you know, because what you know don't mean anything. What you can prove means everything. I can prove it. And like I told him, I was incredulous. How is it? I'm 6. I said, listen, dude, I was standing right there because I'm standing outside the establishment. They've got these big windows, and I can point and look from outside the establishment straight inside the window. I said, dude, I was right at that counter. I'm 6'4". How do you miss this big body? All you got to do is run the tape back. That's all you got to do. Run the tape back and you'll see me making my purchases. I'm sure with computer systems, you have the ability to not just run a tape back, but you can ascertain exactly when people make purchases. That means you can sync up the purchase that was made. You can sync it up with my all these places you go to now. They have these cards that give you discounts, and I use my discount number, which is my cell phone number. You don't have to run out here and do this, bro. You go ahead. You can contact me. If he had asked me for my cell phone number, I would have gave it to him. See what I'm saying? There's a way of doing things. But he's going to run back out and I'm going to get you. I stood outside the car. Go ahead and get the license plate number. Go right ahead. Contact me. Call me. So we can sort this out and you can apologize to me and then I'll make decisions as to what we do after that. And I'm not implying that I want to take it any further than that. But, you know, within certain confines, you just can't let people just push you around and do anything to you. You can't succumb. Like I said, I don't answer all questions. You ask me a dumbass question, I'm not answering that because you asked me a question. No. I mean, I'm like that on the microphone and away from the microphone. I don't have to waste my time with that. I don't have to stoop to your demands because you got a problem and you got a paranoia because you're judging people by how they look. Like I said, had I been in there like fresh from a business meeting with a suit and tie on, never would have had a problem. Never would have had a problem. And if the manager has a problem with that, then you come down and say, don't just send your black security guard down here to do your dirty work. What the hell is this, the plantation? Wait. Can we see your papers? Because I know you saying you free, but you could be a slave. So let me see your papers. Hell no. Not doing it. Never. And they just caught me in the mood. I had an experience not too long ago to tick me off. You know how it is being black in America. From time to time, you have to remind people that just because you have darker skin doesn't mean that you don't care about yourself, that you don't have self-respect, that you don't have self-esteem, and that you're not intelligent. It's just what happens. And have you ever been in that situation before? 513-873-7134. We can get into it. I'll clue you in, I guess, on Monday as to what's going on. But I was highly upset. And, the more, when you racially profile, or you feel like you're racially profiled as a minority or your class profile, if it's at an establishment that you spend a lot of money, you get even more enraged. If it's an establishment that you go to on a regular basis and you're like, oh, okay, so now I fit the profile today. And I'm spending money in this establishment on a regular basis. But now I fit the profile, I ain't doing it. And see, here what's so funny is that I didn't realize it, I guess inadvertently. And again, do I really need the receipt? No. When you go to some of these places, if it's a fuel purchase or something I need to keep, then I'll keep it. If it's not, who knows what I do with the receipt? I might throw it out as I'm walking out, unless there's a coupon attached to it. So I legally don't have to keep a receipt. There's nothing legally in the world that says that once I make a purchase, I have to keep it. The only time you have to keep a receipt is if you're trying to make a purchase. Like I said, if we get to the point where you want to involve whoever, and I get to the point where I need to prove that I made the purchase, I can do that. But I don't have to show you no damn receipt. I could walk out the store, and as I'm walking to my car, I could take the receipt and throw it into the trash. Does that mean that I didn't pay for it? No, but at the time, honestly, I didn't realize it because I got home and let me get my damn receipt. I'm going to show them. Going through my pockets, I'm like, wait a minute, receipt? Wait a minute, no receipt. And what pisses me off is I had a coupon too. So I lost my receipt and my coupon. I'm more upset about the coupon because, as I said, it's amazing world of technology. When you make purchases on debit cards, it makes an instant receipt. If I wanted to, I could stop purchase on it. And that's just the world that we live in nowadays. So you always have protections as a consumer when you're doing the right thing. You always do. And you don't have to get on your knees because somebody approaches you and says something or alleges something. They have to prove that. Now, I think you should respond in a reasonable manner. But, sometimes people get caught off guard or, again, things are going on and now they're dealing with some nonsense or some Gilligan saying something to them. And you go there. It happens. Kush writes, get to the choppers.
Get to the choppers.
I hear that damn story, Nate. Of course, he wrote that 30 minutes ago. Carolyn writes, good morning, Chop Shop. Derek writes, happy Friday, Choppers. Shannon writes, good morning, TGIF. Akeem writes, get money. No, I'm sorry. Akeem writes, morning, get money. Hey, Nate, I got the coldest T-shirt on the web. Check me out in the group. Friends who like the Nathan Ivey Show. Who I'm whooping in spades this weekend. Okay, let me check this out real quick. See, I'll take the time if I can get to it. See, Facebook. I'm gonna jump in here. It better be a cold ass T-shirt, man. Damn, Akeem. Here we go. All right, I'm in. We're almost at 600 members. So within a week, less than a week, we've gone from 400 to nearly 600 members. See, Angela, she had her eye on the mayor. Where were you at? Amos Projects Forward Together People's Public Meeting. See here. Trump donates part of his salary to the National Park Service. Wonder Woman is dancing around. Oh, boy. Tracy writes, no prenup, and you're worth $33 million, Gilligan. Oh, yeah, he about to get cashed in, man. Damn, he's lucky. Brian writes, y'all stupid. Why are you posting this? Okay, I see Fame writes, Justice Department, or he posted, Justice Department may reopen its investigation into the murder of Emmett Till. And that's a post by The Roots, so that's a credible source. I don't see it, Hakeem. Have you wasted my time, man? I don't see a T-shirt in here. We'll get back to it at some point. I spread a piece. Blackout, why don't black people support black businesses? That's a good question. There it is. There it is. Pow, Nathan Ivey. That is a pretty good damn T-shirt, man. That is a pretty good damn T-shirt. It's worth it, actually. I'm going to like that. That's a damn good T-shirt. People are going super hard at that Pepsi commercial. And some fool tried to actually do it. At a city council meeting in Portland, Oregon, it was interrupted by a protester who rushed up to the mayor, pulled out a can of Pepsi from his jacket, and handed it to him. And the dude looks like, who does he look like? He looks like somebody, he looks like J. Cole. Is that J. Cole? Now, what did I tell you folks about that Pepsi stuff? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? I told you that in the real world, if you try to recreate that whole Pepsi scene where Kendall Jenner walks up to a police officer and they're standing, number one, that officer is going to have full riot gear on. That's number one. So you're not even going to be able, he's not going to be able to drink ish unless he lifts up his visor or takes off his equipment. It's just not going to happen. And then the second thing is that's a tense situation. That's what makes that Pepsi commercial so silly, is that it trivializes something that is very, very serious. And like I said, I've had a couple examples to see that. The most recent example I saw, again, was the RNC when I seen when it was the most violent protest that I've ever seen. I put it that way. Not as violent as what I saw in in the aftermath of some of the shootings we had around the country in the last few years. But I saw people arrested, slammed to the ground, all that kind of stuff. And when the police are in that mode and you're in that scenario and you're in a riot situation, you can't walk up to them and give them a damn thing. If you walk up to a police officer and reach inside your vest to get a Pepsi, before your hand comes out, you are dead. Period. You're dead, you're maced, you're tackled, you're arrested. Non-lethal measures, they got a bunch of stuff they can do. Flashbang grenades. You're not going to walk up to a police officer in a riot situation. Not even riot, but in a public protest situation and give them a Pepsi. They couldn't take a Pepsi from you. They wouldn't take a Pepsi from you. They don't know what the Pepsi's laced with. That was just unbelievable. It really was. And so this dude, he goes to the city council meeting in Oregon, right? Want to be J. Cole. He goes into his jacket, pulls out a can of Pepsi, gives it to the mayor. I know the mayor's like, what in the F is this dude doing? Somewhere Kendall Jenner, the people with Pepsi were like, ha, it's working. Our diabolical plan to make more money by branding ourselves with the youth movement. It's working. Damn, it worked on that dude. But anyway, the mayor responds, this is for you. Okay. No, I'm sorry. The mayor responds by saying, whoa. That's what he said. Then he says, not a good move. Don't do that again. Not a smart move. This is what the mayor of Portland, Oregon said in response to the fake J. Cole dude giving him a Pepsi at a city council meeting. He's like, whoa, don't do that again. Going inside your jacket is a good way to get killed in 2017. So you go inside your jacket and get a Pepsi or some kind of shiny object, your ass is over with, man. Nobody's waiting for that. Especially not law enforcement. Don't do it. Do not do it. Don't do it. Take the Black Line Report. Keep your ass up on the curb. Take the Black Lion route and stay up on the curb. I bet he hates it. I love it. That's the truth, too. He knows it. So then the protester pulls another soda from his jacket, snaps it open, and then raised the can to the mayor. This is not the 70s. In the 70s, they had commercials where people be sharing soda pops. And I don't know about you, but if you hand me a soda pop, don't open it. Don't pop the top, man. What's wrong with you? You hand me the soda pop already intact. I'll pop it myself, man. I want to wash that off first. This is 2017, man. It's a whole new world out there. You got chemical agents and you got all kind of stuff. The Unabomber. Don't forget the Unabomber. Somebody many years ago was mailing powdered substances to members of Congress, and you over here open up my soda can and you want to give it to me. I won't drink it. Call me rude. I'm not drinking that. And when he did that, 2 police officers quickly intervened and escorted the man away. That's what happened. You can't do that. I'm reading an article from Oregon Live, OregonLive.com. Here's the title: Pepsi Scare disturbs otherwise tame Portland City Council meeting. I love the internet. I love it. And I wonder if he's going to be arrested. Hold on, I want to get to this, man. Oh, that is so good. He pulled a Kendall Jenner and got arrested. See, that's what they don't show you. And that's why that Pepsi commercial is such BS. Because in the real life, in the real world, you can't do that. If you went down to Cincinnati City Council and tried to give John Canley a Pepsi, I want to see you do it. I dare you. I want to see you do it. If you go to city council meeting, number one, you can't even really approach them when they're at council because they're like at their podiums and there's like, I don't know, there's at least 10 feet or so if it looks like, and there's another public podium where people like talk before council, and then you got the seats behind that, right? If you walked I would love to see someone do that in a very nonviolent way, of course. But you're going to get arrested, man. You're going to get arrested. I don't think you should do it. And as soon as he did, guess what? He got bum rushed. You're out of here. And the mayor himself said, not a good dude. Not a good move, dude. Not a good move. Yeah, I mean, maybe in the 70s you could do stuff like that. You could like run up to OJ and give him a Pepsi, or you could like run up to OJ with an open container of Gatorade and OJ would drink it. In 2017, people ain't drinking that. I don't know if that's Pepsi. I don't know if that's some kind of other agent. I don't know what the hell is in this. Why are you giving me a Pepsi? That's where we are now in 2017. You can't even give somebody something like that you don't know, and they won't look at it suspiciously. Tracy writes, you respond by getting a refund. That's right. See, Pat, good morning to everybody. I might jump over a bit, but good morning to everybody. I see Serenthia's in the house. Getting set to talk with her in a few minutes. Casey writes, good morning, Nathan and the Chopper, sending positive, powerful vibrations to you all. I need them too. And listen, if you have a business, if you are trying to build something here in the city of Cincinnati, in Southwest Ohio, if you're trying to get the name out there, I've got an opportunity for you, a great opportunity to unwind, to socialize with regional and local professional entrepreneurs. You can make great connections in a fun and relaxed atmosphere while possibly expanding your network of contacts to help you fuel your own career or business goals. And you can never have too many opportunities if you're an entrepreneur, if you're trying to build something at networking. You can never have too many opportunities. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they start to think like very small in some cases. Like people might be doing things in Cincinnati. They may not be thinking about some of the other areas that are near Cincinnati. They might even come to mind at all. So this is an opportunity perhaps for you to extend your brand and to connect with people that could perhaps take your business to the next level. And you can network locally with networking professionals. You could do it face to face. So if you're going to attend the event is April 22nd. And it's from 6:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. And for $25, they're asking you to bring your business cards. You get free beer, and they're going to have a free buffet. They will have a cash bar. And you can network on the river, the Little Miami River, listening to DJs, interacting with healthcare professionals from the fields of transportation, corporate and nonprofit organizations, real estate developers, financial planning consultants, P&G, GE Aviation, sales, marketing, healthcare, salon professionals, and much more. So the folks behind this are really trying to create an event where people can harness and enhance their business prospects. So again, it's April 22nd, and it's at the Fitton Center. the Fitness Center. And I'll talk more about it as the show goes on. If you're interested, you can find a link on my Facebook page right now. If you go to my Facebook page and you scroll down just a bit, you'll see a link to their Facebook page. And I check it out. If I was you, I'd check it out. It's a networking happy hour event in Hamilton. It's at the Fenton Center for Creative Arts. It's, again, April 22nd at 6:30 p.m. from 6:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. Their address is 101 South Monument Avenue, Hamilton, Ohio, 45011. And as they've told me, they've actually connected with some folks down in Cincinnati who were looking to make some connections up in that area. And so it's already seems to be, paying benefit dividends in terms of connecting individuals already. So again, it's April 22nd. It's a networking happy hour event in Hamilton, Ohio. It's at the Fitton Center, Fitton Center for Creative Arts. And if you Google them, looks like a pretty nice venue, actually. And I talked with the folks behind it, and what they're envisioning is sort of like an indoor-outdoor kind of setting with DJs, people from all different types of fields, and overlooking the river as well. It sounds like a great time, and they still have room available for you right now. So what am I going to do? I'm going to share it again on my page, and you can check it out. All right, let's move forward. 513-873-7134. All right, Brian writes, war? Yeah, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. War? Yeah, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Well, war is good for one thing, and that is making money. Changing the cultural and political landscape of regions around the world, and also distracting the American public. Now, we couldn't anticipate that Bashar was going to commit a chemical attack. What I will say is that if you're looking for straight, unfiltered news, especially when it comes to international affairs, I have found, and I'll be honest with you, that you can't always rely solely on the American press. At times like this, I like to go to McClatchy News Services. I'll even check out Al Jazeera from time to time. Financial Times magazine as well is another. They may give you another international perspective. But I would look at going outside of the confines that maybe you have in terms of getting news, so you can have a fuller picture of what's really going on. Ms. D writes, greetings. Deanna writes, good Friday morning. Doing a presentation to the company executives today on a suggestion I submitted a few months ago. Wish me luck. Absolutely, I certainly will, Deanna. She says she's doing a presentation to the company executives today on a suggestion I submitted a few months ago. There it is. I appreciate it. Listen, there it is. That's what the good stuff is. Ooh, man, you ever commit to do a presentation and you're like, damn, why did I commit to do a presentation? Got to get up in front of people and talk for 20 minutes. How am I going to do this? Nervous as hell. I've been there before. But I wish you luck in that, Deanna. Definitely. Mike writes, good morning and TGIF. And listen, I may jump over some of your comments, but I know we got Serenthia coming on pretty soon, and I want to make sure I get as many comments in as possible. Rhonda writes, happy birthday weekend. The turn up has already started. April 9th is the big day. Uh-oh. Ooh, Aries? Is that Aries, I believe? Oh, man, Aries women. I'm married to an Aries woman myself. The wifey's birthday was on Monday. So happy birthday to you, Rhonda. Are you celebrating the entire month? That's the new trend now. Whole month. Mr. Holly writes, TGIF. See what else here. Deborah writes morning. Michelle writes TGIF. Dale writes Westbrook got OKC as a 6th seed. I think in the Western Conference playoffs, that's without punk ass Durant. Westbrook has been balling. He's been balling. Sister V writes TGIF to the good people in the chop shop and hello, high ass gas prices. Thank you, Mr. Trump. Gas is fluctuating. I mean, $2.50 a gallon? What's next? $2.80? Back in the day, back when I was just getting my license way back in the old days, gas was like $1 a gallon. It was super cheap. $1.50. I remember that because I was borrowing my uncle's car. He was so good about it, man. Man, I love my uncle. Shout out to uncles out there, man. Because I used to borrow his car when I was in college so I could hook up with girls. He was so good about it. Even when I would stay the night out, he never said anything. I'd be like coming home like, damn, bro, I got caught up in the El Nana. Before I knew, I woke up, it was in the morning. He never said anything to me about it. His only rule was just keep the car gassed up, man. Don't hit anything, but keep the car gassed up. So that's how I remember what the gas prices was, because there was a link between me being able to pay for the gas and me, how do I put this? Having an opportunity to meet my friends. We'll put it that way. So I'll never forget those gas prices. I kept my uncle's car gassed up. Wait. I can creep in your car? And it wasn't creeping back then. It was called booty calls. I said it. The wifey knows all about it. And let me revel in the good old days. Okay, that's all I got. That's all I got. The King writes, speaking of hoops, what you think about Patrick Ewing becoming Georgetown basketball head coach? Wow, well, he's got the history for it. Haven't really been tuned into college basketball at all, quite honestly, and much more into the pros, but I respect their hustle. I respect the love for the game. And I'm always a Bearcat fan, forever, for life. But I don't know. I don't know if Patrick Ewing can coach. I mean, he's been an assistant coach in the NBA. I think it's a great idea. Who would be a better coach than a former player? Brian writes, they would be in the predicament, MVP. See, Kelly writes, morning, Ned and the Chop Shop fam. Good morning, Kelly. AKCOG. What's up, AKA-COG? Not sure what that means. EPWTF. EPWT. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not hip. You too hip for the room, man. Kelly writes, happy birthday, Rhonda. Brian writes, if you took Kyrie off the Cavs, AKOG, 33 a.m. here. Where you all? East Coast, Midwest, man. Cincinnati, Ohio. So there's a 4-hour time difference, AKOG, because your chat, your text is actually timestamped. So you made that at 7. You made that comment, that text. You shared it at 7:32 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Cincinnati, Ohio. But however, wherever you are, it's 3:30. Is that West Coast? Mike writes, happy Earth Day, Rhonda. Absolutely. Rhonda writes, check this video out of Dick Gregory is talking about the chemtrails. B writes, Park Place sounds like a super place to meet and greet the choppers. I think so too. I know that the ownership over there will be happy to hear that. I'll work it out. Like I said, we desperately need to get together, and I want this to be an annual thing. Why not? We're doing something new here. We're creating something new. We can create it and do whatever we want to within legal limits, of course, and polite standards and taste, but we can do whatever we want to do. And that's the wonderful thing about creating something new, and I'm open to it, is that, this project is organic to me. I've got confines and things I'm doing on a regular basis and whatever, but it's organic. I'm open to organic change. And that's why I keep a segment of every show open to go inside the Friends Who Like the Nathan Ivey Show, because I can't see everything. And I love it, man. People post great things. My only thing is, let's keep it pleasant. Let's build that into something. Could you imagine the influence that we could wield if we grow the numbers of this show and we have a substantial social media following as well? That could be extremely impactful inside the city of Cincinnati, because that's where we're broadcasting from. So I can see the near future. It's like a very, 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 very long tunnel, and I can see a little piece of light. But I'm an optimist. I can see light. Like I said, whenever you're in the game, you got a shot to win. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. But you have to put yourself in the game. You have to put yourself in the game to win. It's like the lottery. You can't win if you don't play. It's like meeting people. You can't meet somebody sitting at home, boo. It's not going to happen. 513-873-7134. Serenthia, are you out there? You can use that number. Sister V writes, chemtrails, UC Blue Ash. What's going on here with the chemtrails? AKLG says they've been spraying us for 30 years. I've heard that. I've read that. This is not the first time I've seen it, but it's happening now in Cincinnati. And so we're talking about it. Jericho writes, happy birthday to Rhonda. Ashley writes, will you ever go back to that store, Nathan? Will I ever go back to the store? Not until I resolve that situation with that manager. I mean, like I said, you could say that was relatively light. You could say that. But at the same time, I really feel like, sometimes you got to take a stance for the next person. Like I said, I'm clean as a whistle, man. No record, no nothing. I don't, I'm that guy. So, and I always make sure that, like I said, I've already checked my bank account right afterward to make sure that I had proof. And that's one thing you have to understand, that when you're dealing with the legal system or any system, it's not about what you think. It's not about what you feel. It is about who you know, but it's about what you can prove. And so I'm confident that nothing will go further from it. I just would like to hear an explanation as to why, if I'm in the store clearly for at least 15 minutes. I walk out of the store. There's no alarms. Why do you think that I stole something? Like, people are walking out of the store all the time. They go to the counter, and in this case, they've got like self-checkout. You go to self-checkout, you make your purchases, and you walk out. People do that all the time. So what I want to hear is what made you send the security guard after me? The alarm didn't go off. I didn't do anything that was not natural. What was it that made you send him after me? Because that's a difficult question to answer. Now, if that's satisfied answer to my satisfaction, that's a tough one, man. It really is. Because part of me don't ever want to go back again, honestly. The more practical side of me is like, come on, Negro, you're going back. But you want to go back with some kind of dignity. And I don't want to have future issues with this. Like I said, I shouldn't have to wear a three-piece suit as a large black man in the city of Cincinnati to appease somebody else's stereotypes about black men. I'm not going to dance that game. If you got some proof of me doing something, then call the police and we can sort it all out. I have no problem. I love police officers. I got family members of the police. I have no fear, no problem with police. I'll talk with police at any time. You knock on my door, you looking for me? Hey, let's talk it out. I got no problem. You want to go down to the station? Let's go. Let's go. Okay? We'll sort all this out. But stopping short of that, I'm not going to just be toyed with at the whim of some manager because they got no proof whatsoever and they want to stop me. I don't have to do that. And I'm not going to do it if I decide not to. But that's just me. But again, I am awaiting a phone call from Serenthia, and I got a call on the line, and let's go straight to the phones. Good morning, caller. How are you?
What's going on, Miss Pat?
Serenthia, what's going on? How are you?
Oh, I'm chilling. I can't complain, sir. What it do?
Well, let's get into it. Well, number one, I want to say to you straight up in front of everybody, thank you for your support. Like, straight up. I really appreciate it. And I'm working hard to make sure that the trust that people put in me is something that, I can demonstrate that I'm actually trying to make things happen. So I really appreciate it, Serenthia. That's number one.
It's no problem. When you see good ground, you sow into good ground. Only good things can be expected just from sowing into good ground, and you serve your good ground.
And I appreciate that. All right. So how long have you been listening to the show? Did you listen like when I was in commercial radio or?
I stumbled upon you in commercial radio. I went through this period to where I didn't listen to any radio at all. So it was like about 3 or 4 years without listening to any kind of nothing over the airwaves. And one day I was running an errand early morning, and I turned it on, and I was like, who is this character? I don't know what stood out more. I think it was probably something you was talking about, or it was just the way, maybe it was just the way you articulated about the topic to where it kind of perched my ears a little bit. And I think I disagreed or was disagreeing with your stance or something. And I was like, oh, this fool. And then I just kept listening, like maybe he got something to say next week. And I've been listening ever since. So it's been probably 8 including, if we include the break, it's been probably about 2 years maybe.
Okay. That's how it happens, though. You be like, who the hell is this fool talking this ish? And then, you're like, man, let me hear this fool. Let me hear him talk to some people, hear what he got to say. And then, sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't. I get it. Are you a fan of talk radio in general? Do you listen to other talk radio shows, whether in the city or on the internet or whatever?
Now I do. What I can honestly attribute to you is that you piqued my interest as far as talk radio was concerned. I think then I was just in this narrow head space where I didn't let too much in. And there was a bunch of things that I wasn't privy to. So when I stumbled upon your show then, it kind of piqued the interest. And ever since then, I'm all over the place listening to all kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I'm a fan of talk radio still to this day. I listen to a lot of different people. Are you from the city of Cincinnati? Or, I mean, you don't have to tell us what city, but you from the state of Ohio? Or?
Yeah, Cincinnati, born and raised.
Okay. What part of the city did you grow up in?
I grew up, I like to take the expression from the movie, what movie was that? Booty Call, when they was in like the little Arab store and he was like, I'm a floater. So, I'm a floater.
Okay.
I was born in Winton Terrace and then floated all over from Winton Terrace to Walnut Hills to Bond Hill to Madison Hill.
Mm-hmm.
College Hill, Mount Healthy, Mount Airy, pretty much all of them.
Okay, that's like me. Did you ever live out in the suburbs at all? Suburbs of city Cincinnati?
I guess as close to the suburbs you can get was Mount Healthy.
Okay, that's funny because that's a good one. I was a floater as well. Like I always read Walnut Hill because my grandparents lived there, but I remember living on Lynn Street and on McGregor in Mount Auburn and in Avondale and Green Hills, Forest Park. My mother lived and my brothers lived in Mount Airy for a little while. So I'm a floater too. I got a little experience in a whole bunch of different neighborhoods, which is kind of interesting, a little different. Some people just grew up in the same space the whole time. But I think people like us had a different experience. I think it's a better experience to kind of float around and get a sense of different neighborhoods.
Right, because each neighborhood do things differently. You cannot go to Walnut Hills doing stuff you did in Avondale. You can't go to Mount Healthy doing stuff you did in Bond Hill. Each hood operates differently. So, you get to see and get to know a bunch of, I'm going to call them eclectic people. That's what you get to see.
And are you like really into politics now? Like, because I don't know, I could just kind of tell from some of your comments that it seems like you keep your eyes on things and you kind of have your own thoughts on things.
You have to know what's going on around you at all times, because if not, you will never be ready for the sneak up. And the way that things going on in this administration here, if you do not keep every single eye you have from your third to your sixth eye, you're going to miss everything. Just like the stuff he's doing now, it's nothing but a distraction. And that's all he's the master of, distraction. So, I've been paying more attention since Obama hit office, not because he was, quote unquote, the first black president. I just wanted to see what would be the differences in his rule compared to those that came before him, and if he would have some obstacles. And, he had more obstacles than what they call that show that come on Channel 5.
You talking about when they run through the obstacle courses?
Yeah.
It's not Beastmaster. That's like on Netflix. But I know what you're talking about, though. I know what you're talking about. Netflix has a show like that.
Like American Ninja.
Yeah, American Ninja, right. Yeah. American.
So, he had more obstacles than them folks. So, that's what made me really start taking an interest in it, because it was like, okay, one day I'm going to have to grow up and actually pay attention and talk about grown-up stuff.
What do you think about this upcoming mayoral primary? You got the mayor, the incumbent, you got Mr. Robertson Jr., you got Miss Yvette Simpson, member of City Council currently. Which two should go forward in your opinion?
I just want to throw the whole ticket away, Jay, the truth.
Really?
Yeah, because it seems like everybody have their own hidden agenda. Now, their motives may be legit, trying to, tell people what's on their heart, but it's a hidden agenda. And I'm not saying that, these are bad people, but everybody is not being forthright about what they're trying to do. I mean, Cranley done already put it out there. He the bottom of the barrel, he the gum at the bottom of the shoe kind of dude. So you already know what to expect from him. He's going to sit there and talk himself up. He's going to throw people in front of the bus to keep him looking good and to keep him spotless, just so when stuff hits the fan, he can say, I told you so. So, he needs him a fall guy. So I already peeped what he's on. Richardson and Simpson, I mean, and they may be good people. I'm not saying anything bad about their character. I just don't think they are completely forthright. And, if I have to pick somebody, I just have to. You see how hard this is?
Damn, I see that. Yeah, it does seem hard. So when you say hiding something, like what I understand is that both Yvette Simpson and Mr. Rob Richardson Jr., just like John Cranley before he became the mayor, you desperately want to be in that position for all the status, the influence, everything that comes with it. I'm sure being a mayor is a huge ego boost. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere you go, hey, that's the mayor. People kissing your ass. So it's hard for me to figure out. I think it's hard to try to figure out, are they in it because they really care about the people or they just want that status symbol? Mm-hmm. And is that kind of your mindset on it?
That too, but you know how, sometimes I call it kitchen talk, how when folks sit around the kitchen table or whatever, and they be like, oh, if I get into this position, I would X, Y, and Z. And sometimes people just try to bring their kitchen talk to fruition, but they really don't tell you their true motives. Now, don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. The intention may be great. You may truly mean it when you say it, like, hey, my whole thing is about bringing awareness to the Black community and getting us the things that we, as a community, we've been so deprived of, and bringing us to a point to where we feel as a whole that we're on some kind of equal level playing field because you've been through that systematic thing. So I get it. But once you hit that, your true motive will show its head. And I don't know if I'm ready for that true motive. Richardson seemed like he just has this, if Trump can do it, I can do it too kind of complex. And he could get in there and just turn the tides. I mean, the last interview I heard of his, he answered the questions, but you could tell he was starting to get easily frustrated. So you really can't keep your temper about yourself. You getting aggravated just that easy over being asked some hard questions or some questions you feel you shouldn't have to deal with. No, I don't know if I like that about you, because then the first time somebody challenges your authority when you're in that seat, then what's going to happen? Will your petty slip show and show that you got the juice and you really going to run rampant to show like how much money, power, and respect you wield in the city of Cincinnati? I don't know. Simpson, she always got an answer for everything. Nothing stumbles her. And people who always have an answer for everything, you think too quick, so that means you can lie even quicker. Again, I'm not challenging her intent. She may have the best intent, just questioning the motives.
I was speaking with Serenthia, and she actually was the first person to come on and be my co-host as a part of the Nathan Ivey Fan Show, and I appreciate her support. Let's go to the text here. I'm going to read some of what folks have to say. A lot of people saying happy birthday to Rhonda. Someone says,
turn up, Queen. Yeah.
Jordan writes, Yvette seems to genuinely care about the city and wants to bring forth change. You agree with that?
If that's how she perceives her, I certainly do. I can't challenge a person's opinion.
True. Daryl writes, I grew up a floater too. I loved it, especially when I was in school, and always being a new student was cool. It depends. I went to a few schools and I wasn't all that nice. They weren't all that nice to me because I was a new kid, but I get it. I understood it as I got older.
But the way CPS worked for me, it's like no matter what hood I moved to, I was still able to go to the same school.
Really? So so you moved around and ended up going to the same school?
Yeah, I've only been to, if you want to count from kindergarten up to high school, it was 3 schools, period.
Huh. I'm sorry, say the last part again?
It was only 3 schools that I've ever been to with all the moving that I've ever done from kindergarten to high school.
What school did you graduate from? Woodward, okay. Bulldogs in the house, nothing wrong with that. So early in the week, I was talking about Mary J. and Kendall, and it's a Friday, and I really want to bring it back up again. And if I remember correctly, you agree with me on that at the end of the day, I did, sir. At the end of the day, pay that man. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it goes. Either pay him half or give him $100 grand a month. And I think the $100 grand a month would probably be cheaper.
That's definitely not what I said. I didn't say I agree with you. I didn't say pay that man. I said the man that don't work don't eat. That's what I said.
So wait, that kind of implies, wait a minute, but a woman that don't work, she eat. It's a lot of women that don't work, but they eat.
Hey, Mr. Ivy, we not going to do this on no Friday.
Come on, Serenthia. You already know. If you get married, that person is entitled half of whatever you made during the time you was married. So either pay this man half. The fact that he cheated don't matter. It don't really matter. It matters a little bit, but not as much as him not getting paid. I'll definitely admit that. It's a factor, but pay that man.
What I can agree to and I find to be reasonable is that whatever money that was made for him being her manager during the time that they was married, he deserves some kind of compensation. I get that. I also get that by her being the primary breadwinner and she sustained the cost and the way of living, that he's entitled to something. I get that. I even get transitional support. I get that. That egregious amount, I don't get that. Again, to me, that's a bully tactic. From what I was hearing over the past couple of days, she had a prenup, and he's saying that the prenup wasn't legit because they never signed it in front of a lawyer. So he's just pretty much coming off the cuff. Again, to support my theory as it's a bully tactic. But you can pay him something. It's not what he's asking for. On top, he want what, $100,000 a month on top of $80,000 she already gave him, and on top of everything else that he asked for. That's foolishness. I'm paying you to be a hoe. No.
Oh, that is funny, man. Listen, we can disagree on this one because that's pretty much the only place to go with it. But I just see all these women getting paid. Tiger Woods' wife, she got half of his fortune. Never did a damn thing on the links. Never was on the back nine or the front nine. Never. It was all him. And yeah, he cheated, but who knows what she was doing? We don't know.
But see what she was doing, if she was doing anything at all, never made it into the spotlight to even be judged in the court of opinion. What did happen, however, was that she married him, birthed him a child. He was unfaithful. She kept the marital home. What became her cash cow was the fact that she birthed him a child, a way to keep his legacy going. If that baby wasn't in play, then whatever amount she got wouldn't have been like that. She would have got something because she married him and technically he breached their contract or their prenup and was unfaithful. So she would have got something. She got what she got because of that baby. It's different when you have some babies and you're keeping up the marital home and you are fulfilling your obligation as a, homemaker. That's a job that the spouse applied for and fulfill it. May it be male or female. Homemaker transcends gender. So if it was the woman that was out there making the money and the man was home because they have a family together and she has to pay for him, fine, I get that. But in Mary J. and Kendu's case, she has no children with this man. He has his own set of kids, a whole family that he want her to support, and she didn't even create this. What's the kid's mama doing? So, no, that's too much.
Serenthia is my guest, and she rolling shotgun with me on a Friday as we talk about the issues. Do you have a Gilligan of the week, a hero of the week, someone who needs to just shut the hell up this week? Anything that stands out to you?
Let me think right quick. Gilligan of the week. Shoot.
It might come to you before we end the conversation. I mean, it was just a thought. Any heroes of the week, and other than Mary J?
She is not a hero.
She got rid of that man. She my hero.
Oh, no. Just because she know how to kill roaches, that don't mean I'm going to recommend her or take her up for my own. No, thank you.
Yeah, listen, if something comes to you, let me know. We'll put it out there. But listen, there's so much going on. Did you hear about this case of the woman that dumped her paraplegic ex-boyfriend in the forest? You hear about that?
No.
Yeah, she's accused of killing him because I don't know what they got into, but they were at a campground. He's a paraplegic. She took him out to the woods in Georgia and left him there. And of course he died. And I'm looking at his images now, brother. And it's a bad situation. She happens to be looks like she's European American. He's African American, so people might make something out of that, like that movie Get Out. Have you seen that yet? Yeah, I want to see that too. People keep saying great things about it.
Oh, you said the movie Get Out. Yeah.
Oh, you did see Get Out.
I see it.
Is it good?
Yes,
okay.
Buddy.
Oh, is that good? Okay, I'm not missing out. I got to see it soon. And apparently she told the police, I did a bad thing. Is this just new? Are humans, are we meaner? Are we more evil to one another than ever before? Or with these devices, it's just we're capturing more of the evil things we do to one another? What's your take on it?
People always been trifling. That's nothing new. It's just the fact now they get to see themselves live in 3D act trifling. Right? The only thing technology did was showcase the donkey in a vast majority of people. That's really all technology did, was just expose folk for who they truly are. People don't change overnight. Character is shaped and shifted from the time that, kids can cognitively think and start to articulate all the way up until they're like 6 or 7. That's when the character is really developed. So the character of the man didn't do nothing but mature over time. So if you wasn't nothing when you was a child, you definitely not nothing as an adult. And it's just right now we have World Star, and all kind of social media outlets that show that, hey, people are really are a trip. So, no.
So this ain't nothing new.
It's always been that way.
Yeah, people always been this way. You may be right. And it just seems like it's so much in the media about people just doing these despicable things to one another that they actually had relationships with these individuals. Like 2 days ago, we were talking about a man who killed his girlfriend, killed her father, and then shot both of her sons, 1 7, 1 8, killed the older boy. Then he runs out of the house and shoots 2 people at a school bus stop. And I'm like, damn, are people bugging out on a new level? Is it the chemtrails? Is it the Similac? What the hell is it? Is it the heroin?
I don't even think it's that. I really think it's the fact that whatever's being pumped into the food, the things that you ingest and digest, that plays a very huge role in the chemical makeup in the brain and how folks maneuver, think, and process things. Then you have to look at people's environment, what they're dealing with on a systematic level, what they're dealing with financially, even their surroundings in their daily lives, their daily living. You put people or you put a person in a situation where they feel that they have nothing to lose. They're going to go out guns blazing. Because why? They feel like they have nothing to lose, and the only thing they really can gain is a little notoriety for the crap that they just did. So, you put a person with a lose-lose mentality in any situation, you're going to get situations like that with the dude sitting up there killing his girlfriend, her child, or daddy. Like, what was the point of you cutting off a whole legacy? You stopped the legacy, leaving an orphan. So what are you really trying to say? You have nothing to lose. The only thing you could gain that would have been beneficial to you was death. That's psychological.
And the most significant thing you did in your life is that you took somebody else's lives.
That's it. That's the only thing you can accredit to your own self is taking the life of another person before you try to go out in the blaze of glory. That's the only thing you feel you really have to live for. That's how you alter the time continuum. That's what it's a trip. It's just a trip. Did you hear?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Serenthia.
You hear about the dude that was supposed to kill his grandpa or his daddy or something over some hummus?
Over hummus?
Hummus. Like, the reason you taking folk out are becoming more trivial. When a food or a food group can make you sit there and take out a whole person, just throw the whole person away, like I said, it's psychological. Some hummus. Yes, an argument over hummus.
Wow, more is coming out. I mean, these trivial arguments, like, it reminds me of what happened over there at Cameo nightclub. Like, whatever they had going on, whatever their beef was, it couldn't have been so serious that at some point, from what I read, one of the trigger men, one of the shooters, was on the stage shooting into the crowd because they got into a beef. What was it, earlier in Madisonville? And so I get it. People have issues. But where's that valve that says, I'm only going to take this so far?
From what I heard, it was a beef about somebody in a funeral, and whatever it wasn't legit enough for what happened. It just wasn't. I can understand it better if it was the result of a domestic issue, like somebody put their hands on a family member, not a guy, but a female, or something happened to a child by the hands of one of the people caught up in the mess. I can understand it better because then it would make some kind of sense. But just because, we went to my homeboy funeral and we don't like your squad, or your turf isn't my turf kind of thing. Like, this isn't the movie Grease. Well, who has turf? When did black folk get turf? You couldn't even get your 40 acres in a mule. You got some turf? Like, I have no understanding. It's stupid.
This is your block? You got no real investments, but this is your block. So, I mean, let's turn our attention to Cincinnati here. I mean, from your perspective, and again, we got elections this year. Are there any issues that you think that the politicians, whether the city council or the mayor, they could address for our communities that would make a difference?
The issues, I mean, people talk a good game. When folks come out and they make their little political statements or whatever, they kind of throw an issue or two out there. I don't think them sitting there discussing that issue is going to change anything. What more would hit the black community and actually mean something is people actually acknowledging that there are real live issues, not just hitting the surface stuff. Like, you can sit there and say financial growth and wealth for the black community. That's supposed to encompass a lot. But if I'm living in Winton Terrace and my monthly income is what sustains me and my household for the entire month, and we're barely making it, and at the end of the month, I'm not even going to have 2 smooth pennies to my name. What I don't want you to do is use all those big words. What I need you to do is talk to me on a common level to where you can say, hey, my goal is to put in every neighborhood a hub to where we can have people out there that will sign you up for GED programs or have some job listings and, something that will actually speak to that targeted area opposed to speaking to the people above them. I don't think people, especially in this political arena, they're not speaking to the core of the issues. They're speaking to the surface of it and just hoping everybody know what that's supposed to entail. And it's just not plain enough. If you have a young mother out there, she's on her own, 16, 17, you don't know what her background is, but 9 times out of 10, she's out there trying to figure out how to make it, and she's receiving some kind of monthly benefit, probably got a couple of kids, it's a stay-at-home mom. You want to sit there and use the word financial and wealth and growth. She doesn't know what that means. Meet her on her level. Put people around folks that can actually reach them because they kind of speak a language that they understand that will actually get them to the point to where they're curious and want to know more. You speaking above these folks' head, they can care less about that. That's like going to a person on the corner, you trying to get them saved, and you talking a bunch of thous and shouts and chants. Nobody's going to hear you. But if you sit there and you speak their language, break things down in their dialect, use their terminology, you become more relatable. I don't believe any of the candidates are relatable to the people that it affects the most.
Okay. Serenthia, that's a good flow. That's interesting. You're saying so you don't hear them speaking that exact language. They're talking over people's head, or it might even be some things so people don't really feel them. People don't really trust them and identifying with them. Is that what you're saying?
Right. But the ones especially the demographic that is going to impact the most, they're not getting it because really they don't understand the severity of, hey, we need to get out here during this election season just because we need to set our deck for the next season to come. They're not understanding that. What they understand is I have $689 starting on the first of the month, and I have to make that stretch to the end of the month. That's what I do understand. I understand that this pack of ramen noodles is going to feed 2 toddlers, and I got a hot dog or 2 to try to make that stretch. Speak their language. Speak to where it'll actually get them to pay some kind of attention to what's going on around them so they can understand how it affects them.
Serenthia is my guest. Appreciate it. It makes sense to me. And it's something to keep in mind, certainly, because I do think sometimes the politicians have a sense to kind of talk over people. And I think part of that is sometimes, recently there was an article in the New York Times, Serenthia, and I posted a link on my Facebook page because what happened is after 2 years, it was 2 years after the racial turmoil in Ferguson, and a lot of people were trying to challenge the system politically, and Ferguson reelected their white mayor. And there's nothing wrong with him having a white mayor, but a lot of people, from what I read, felt like it was his watch in which a lot of these police things happened, and he didn't do enough. And they had a black female who was running. I think her name is Ella Jones. And her quote was, if you've been oppressed so long, it's hard for you to break out to new ideas. And I'm wondering if on some level some of that happens in the city of Cincinnati, because sometimes the folks who will be affected most by policies are the folks who are the most disconnected from the whole political system at all. They don't believe in voting in some cases, or they don't vote regularly. And how do you change that? Is it on the politicians to speak that language, to connect with them? Or is it on the people to self-educate and be more aware of the tools that are available?
It's both. Everybody has to play their part. Everybody has to be accountable for their part. I can't sit there and hold Cranley's feet to the fire for something I felt he did that was just flat out goofy if I'm not even educated on what he's in control of, what he has say over. It's on everybody. I mean, politicians speak to the money, not the people. When you hear folks speak about politicians, they normally they articulate well, they well spoken, and they speak to the money. Money is soothed by words and by eloquent speech. You're more worried about the timing and the beat of your speech opposed to piercing the heart of some people to actually focus on stuff that really impact the people you're trying to get to vote for you. Like, okay, the whole Cameo shooting, Grammy said it was evil. Right now, black folks don't need to hear nothing about black folk being evil. Just don't. But half of the demographic of Hamilton County is black. So the bulk of the vote is going to come from those that's 18 to 35, I truly believe. But you just insulted that whole demographic. What makes you think that they're going to care about policies of politicians when you just pretty much called them evil? Now, these kids are stuck on the evil part. All this fool called us evil. They're not looking at the fact that what was done, he was speaking as that it looked like it was evil or it had an evil intent. I mean, we can dance around his semantics all day, but they're looking at the fact like, oh, you just called us evil. Black folk as a whole, evil. Or we young, we evil. That's where they're at. Guess what? They turned their switch of care off. They have 0 F's to give. Period.
Let's go to the shoppers. Daryl writes, Mary J. took on a role as being a mother to his children, so pay that man and keep it moving. Good point, Daryl. Brian writes,
y'all stop.
Brian writes, heroes of the week are the 4 brothers who got accepted to the Ivy League schools. I saw that. I agree. Rhonda writes, men who do not adopt children to not have to pay for them, so Mary J. should not have to pay for Kendall's children. I don't think she legally adopted them.
Good point, Rhonda. I have never met a stepdaddy that had to pay child support for kids that was not his.
I've never met a stepdaddy, but I've seen some stuff like on the internet. There's some cases of men who was paying child support, find out the kid wasn't there. The court said you still got to pay child support because you started this process. And I think that's very unfair. Mila writes,
did he sign the birth certificate? That's the question.
He might have. That's because brothers are trusting.
Responsible.
Yeah, but he signed a birth certificate because he was told by the woman. You figure she was telling you the truth.
And I get that. He should take her to court and sue her civilly for every dime that he can get out of her. But you took on that responsibility. You assumed that responsibility in good faith when you thought you was the pappy of that dead baby. You should have took the extra precautions as a safeguard to make sure that that baby was yours.
Mila writes, mankind has always been evil. Look at the history of slavery. Look at the history of gladiators, geishas, etc. War, brutality, all kinds of nasty things are happening through the annals of history. She also writes, he didn't kill his father. He shot him in the hand. Thank you for the correction. And speaking of which, you said, I think the city of Cincinnati is nearly half African-American. The county's different, though, Serenthia, but the city is nearly half African-American. I think you said county earlier.
I did.
Daryl writes, I'm loving Serenthia's flow. She needs her own radio talk show.
Oh, bless your heart.
They bigging you up. Sister V writes, I like Serenthia's flow. She is on point. I always maintain that if you don't speak to the heart of the matter, you will not connect. There it is. See what else here. Miss D writes, no one thinks black folks will turn out to vote, so they are talking reckless and skipping debates.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Serenthia, listen, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything that you want to promote? Website, maybe somebody else, somebody you know is doing something in the city of Cincinnati?
Not at this time. I just, before I go, I just want to give you some words of encouragement. Just no matter how the forces of opposition come up against you, you just keep your head above water. Just remember to keep treading and assume that, that storm, that breeze of the past. You just show that you have that perseverance spirit that can probably knock you down, but they can't knock you out. So, keep on your toes. I just see greatness in you, sir.
Well, Serenthia, thank you so much for your support. All right. Thank you for spending time with me today.
No problem.
Yep. Take it easy. Have a great weekend. That's Serenthia. And that was a great conversation. It was a great conversation. I'm glad she came on, and I could tell she got a different personality, but I like it, though. I like it. I like people that have their own views and I like people with strength and intelligence. So thank you so much. And we'll do it quarterly, which means a few times per year. And I'll let you know when we do the next fan show, the Nathan Ivey Fan Show. I'll invite you to come on just like that. We'll kick it for a couple segments. We'll say 30 minutes or so. Could be more like it was with Serenthia. And again, if you have anything that you're promoting, I'll give you the opportunity to do that. And I'd offer this to my patrons. You can go to my Patreon site right now. And if you're like, where's your Patreon site? Go to nathanivey.com, click on support, and it'll take you straight to it. Thank you so much. I'm live, I'm local, I'm vocal. I'm also back right after this.
Urban Report. I'm Donna Wilson. The Labor Department releases its monthly jobs report this morning. An economist expected to show 180,000 jobs were created last month, and they predict the national jobless rate will remain at 4.7%. The black jobless rate stands at 8.1%. On job diversity, a study finds that racial and gender hiring practices in college sports declined from the previous year and still lags behind those in professional sports. The annual report card from the Institute for Diversity and Ethics in Sport gave college sports a grade of C+ for its racial hiring and a C for its gender hiring. The report shows opportunities for coaches of color remain a significant problem. And Route 21, the teen clothing chain, is preparing to file for bankruptcy as soon as this month. Route 21 has seen a fall-off in mall traffic.
My number 2 does not look like a number 2. I don't know what to call it. Is there a number 3?
Table for 4, please. Anything close to the restroom.
Oh, a middle seat with these stomach problems? That's my fear of flying.
Sound like you? If it does, you could be one of the many people with a digestive condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Even if you don't know what EPI is, you might know the symptoms: frequent diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain. If you have even just one of these symptoms, you could still have EPI, because not everybody experiences EPI the same way, which is why it's so important to open up to your doctor about all your symptoms. And the good news is, EPI is manageable, so don't keep a lid on it. Go to identifyepi.com, complete the symptom checker, and use it to have a conversation with your doctor. Don't keep a lid on it. Visit identifyepi.com. Brought to you by AbbVie.
That's your Bloomberg Urban Report. I'm Donna Wilson.
The average citizen can't take off work to attend a Cincinnati City Council meeting at 2 p.m. Actually, the average citizen has never even spoken with a Cincinnati City Council member. I'm going to change that. My name is Tamaya Denard, and I'm running for Cincinnati City Council to make your government more accessible to you. We should change City Council meetings to 6 p.m. so they're easier to attend. We should have a City Council meeting in all 52 neighborhoods. And we should explore changing our charter to stagger our elections. That way, you hear from council members more than once every 4 years. Government was designed to best serve its people. It's time we made City Hall more accessible to regular folks like you and me, and not just campaign donors. To find out more, visit TamayaDenard.com. When elected, I'm going to fight for you.
We asked kids what it took to be a dad. This is what they had to say.
A father is always present. I mean, what real father figure can you have if they're not there?
In order to be a good dad, you need to love your son. You need to put gas in your car so you don't break down in the middle of nowhere. And you need to make them breakfast. Yep.
I mean, just to maybe play like a board game with me, or to just stay home and play some video games with me. Just to do like that one little thing is what I really look forward to.
I'm not asking him to be a perfect dad, but he should try. He's just a constant force in my life.
There's no other type of love like a dad's love because it's not comparable to anything else.
Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hey, everyone. Let's all stop what we're doing right now and take a moment. That felt good, huh? Just like that, we had a nice, special sort of moment together. Of course, they don't all need to be quiet moments to be special. They could be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments. Moments where we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. Sounds like somebody agrees. So let's take a moment to make a moment today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent. You're listening to The Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
So I feel like I was racially profiled within the last 24 hours. I go into a store to make purchases, as I've done dozens of times at this particular establishment. I'm not going to tell you the name at this point or the particular part of town. And I go in to make my purchases. As I'm walking out, I'm approached by a security guard who happened to be African American. And he says to me, "Were you in the store?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Do you have a receipt for your purchases?" Now, I've got about $34 in my cart worth of purchases. And I made those purchases with a debit card. At the time, I thought that my receipt along with my coupon was in my pocket. And when I got home, to my chagrin, it was not. I guess fell out somewhere. Who knows? But legally, I don't have to have a receipt when I make a purchase. There's nothing legally saying I have to have a receipt. All I have to do is have proof of purchase if it gets to the point where I'm legally challenged. And what you have to understand about me is I'm always ready. Let's go. Let's do it. As I said, you got to be ready in terms of preserving your life and your integrity to go to jail on the spot. I'm telling you, folks, you need to put a couple grand away for a rainy day unless you have to prove, in case you have to prove your case in court. Because you're not going to win on the side of the road. You're not going to win inside the store. You're going to win, if you're going to win, in court with facts. And so, of course, I called my bank. And, of course, they have the transaction I made at this establishment for the exact amount. I made a video of testimony shortly minutes afterward, including a video of all of my purchases, that if I need to, without a receipt, I can prove with facts, match up to the time and also the prices of the things that I purchased. I'm good. But I don't have to give you a damn receipt because your manager told you to stop me. And I asked him, I said, well, can the manager come down? Because I want an explanation as to how I can be inside the store, walk past the security guard several times, see the security guard, make these purchases. I walk out the store, no alarms go off, and then he runs you out here to stop me. I want to know what that explanation is, and I still want to know. And as soon as I get off the air, I'll be making a call to talk to the management over there. And if I need to, I will stop in there until I get satisfaction. And I'm doing this for several reasons. See, a lot of folks don't have the stones, so they're not in a position to deal with this kind of harassment, because that's what it is. They profile me. I can't say if it's racially profiling or if it's class profiling. You know, when I made the purchase, it was really, really early in the morning. And there wasn't a whole lot of people in the store. And I didn't know there was a dress code other than you have to have on shoes and socks. And, you know, you want to make sure you're smelling good and all that kind of stuff. I mean, other than that, I didn't know they had a dress code. Like, I had to wear a suit and tie in order to not be surveilled or stopped randomly. And see, my question is, if you stop me randomly, then I want you to explain to me why you stopped me randomly. What was it about me? Was it because I'm a large black man? Is it because I had a hoodie on? Is it because I had a jacket on? Is it because of what? Is it because I had on some old beat up Nikes? What exactly about me screams to you that this man is about to steal something in your store? That's what I want to hear. I want to hear an explanation. It's not good enough for you to just say, oopsie, oh, we were wrong. No. I want to know why you even surveilled me in the first place. That's it. Polite conversation. And we'll leave it right there. But again, I don't have to have a receipt. I can purchase something, rip up the receipt, and throw it in the trash behind the counter. I can give the torn up receipt to the person I just made the purchase from and walk out legally in this country, and there's nothing wrong with that. As I said, all I have to do, if we get to the point where there's any legal action, I have to be able to produce proof of purchase. I can do that. And if I can do that, then it begs the question, what in the hell are you talking about, Mr. and Mrs. Store Manager? So I can't wait for that conversation. And hopefully they'll think twice about profiling the next large black man that goes into their establishment because they don't have a suit and tie on. So the way this particular establishment works is they have self-express. So you can make your purchases, pay for it with your debit card or your cash, and you walk straight out the door. Nobody checks your bags. And so what is the stopgap from situations like that? Well, the stopgap is one of two things. It's either observations that people made while you were there, like they observe you somehow tricking or outthinking the self-checkout mechanism, which I don't even know what the hell that would be. But then secondly is that when you walk out of establishments and you haven't paid for something, what happens? An alarm goes off. Bloop, bloop, bloop. The alarm never went off. Isn't that another further proof of purchase? And as I said, there weren't a whole lot of people in the store. So it's not like somebody could have seen me and maybe there was a lot of commotion and they didn't really see or whatever. I'm sure on whatever cameras, I'm the star of the show. There were very few people in the establishment. So I'm looking forward to having those conversations because you cannot judge a book by your cover. And I told the guy, I said, you profile me. I'm not coming to your store to be profiled. You should have saw his eyes as big as saucers. Black dude. I can see it on his face. You're right. How is it that the security guard can say to me, hey, I know you were in the store. You just walked past me. You were cool. But a manager, we'll say the manager was either, let's say, upstairs watching on a monitor or was in the vicinity but not real close. So the security guard has a better vantage point than the manager does. That's like calling, you can't referee from the stands. Or maybe you can now with video and things like that and replay. So I said, listen, call the manager, have the manager come down here, because if he is the person who's telling you to stop me, that means he or she is the person that has whatever concern, and they should voice those concerns directly to me. If you want my receipt, have the manager come down here. To me, that sounds like a very reasonable response. And any manager worth their salt would have been walking toward the situation anyway. My second thing was call the police then. Call them. Call them right now. Let them get there. They'll come to the scene. They'll ascertain what's going on. You're going to say you're sorry. I'm going to have to make a decision as to whether I want to be at your establishment. And that's what's going to happen. That's it. You're going to give me a coupon? I like coupons. How much is a coupon worth now that you have falsely profiled me? Is that a $200 coupon? Is it 40 acres of mule? Is it a $40 coupon? $40 and what? Some meat? So what exactly do you give somebody after they've been racially profiled? And then you want to stop me and ask me these questions. It was a small crowd of employees at this particular establishment who were outside smoking. And they're standing right there. They hear all of this. They're kind of looking around. And the guy goes back in. And as I keep walking on to my car, and I open the trunk and put my purchases in the trunk, as I always do. And as I'm about to walk over to the passenger side, to the driver's side, and open the door and put the ignition in the key and then drive home with my seatbelt on, I see this same security guard coming out with a pad in his hand. So the manager sent this dude back out. We'll get his license plate. So now, because I know they haven't went back and looked at the tape. So now, just based upon what one person says, the manager who never showed up, this manager got you running back out to check my license plate. So I took a photograph and video of him. So you know who I am. I know who you are. And what's so crazy about it is if he would have asked me for my name and cell phone number, I would have given it to him. See, that's another little bit of disrespect in all of this. You're just going to automatically assume that I'm some kind of criminal. You can't even talk to me. Had he said, hey, sir, listen. The manager's on his way down here right now, and he'll talk with you about that. I would have given him about 10 minutes or so. Like, I work in the morning. I don't have time to sit around with your nonsense, so I have to move on. But I would have, in the interest of clearing the air and everybody's got understand what's going on, I would have stood there and talked to the manager. When I suggested that he call the police, if he said, listen, we call the police, I would have stood and waited for the police. And we would have sorted it out. But you're not going to get a manager. You're not going to call the police. You ain't getting no receipt. Take it then. I'd love to see you take it from me. Come take my receipt. Now, of course, I didn't say that to him. But in the back of my mind, that's what I'm thinking. No, I don't have to give you a receipt. You can't even give me the respect of going to get the manager that accused me of doing something and provokes you to come get me, but I'm supposed to give you a receipt? No. Had the manager came, I would have given them a receipt. Now I realize I don't have a receipt, and I would have been uncomfortable. Like, I don't have a receipt, but I really paid for this. That would have been uncomfortable. And I guess the gods saved me of that little bit of embarrassment in the moment. But as I said, I quickly went straight to my bank to make sure that the transaction, because then I start thinking like, damn, yeah, I did pay for this. You know how you start thinking, like, I paid for this. But I'm thinking, damn, I don't have a receipt. What happened to it? I checked the bank debit card, boom, time stamped. They got the location. Okay, they've got the amount of the purchase. Boom, there it is. So Nathan has his backup, his evidence. I just can't wait to hear what the conversation's going to be. Can't wait. I can't wait for them to tell me why he had the security guard stop me and the alarm didn't go off. I've seen it before. People walk out the place, the alarm goes off, security guard, he quickly goes after them. I've seen that many times before. I understand that. That I can understand. It's even happened to me before where I've made purchases and the alarm goes off and I stop and I kind of look back to see if somebody's coming, an attendant to scan something or whatever. And then in some cases that happens. In some cases it doesn't. It didn't happen in this case. So before, what's next? You going to ask me for a DNA test? I got to give you DNA? No. You need to come down here and explain to me face to face, like a grown person, like a manager, exactly why you had this security card detain me while I'm just going about my way after I've just made a purchase in your establishment. Can't wait for that. I'll let you know all about it. I might even audio tape it or videotape it. I can't wait for that. And as soon as I get off the air, I'll be making that phone call. As soon as after I get off the air. You don't have to stand for that. You don't have to stay there. All you got to do is hold people accountable for the jobs that they do. That's it. Mila writes, a Family Dollar manager grabbed my aunt. If I'm at a Family Dollar and you grab my wife, it's a 2-piece to the face. Quick. I'm telling you. Straight off the dome. Period. Any man. Manager. It makes no difference. It's 2-piece straight to the dome. Don't put your hands on me. And you certainly don't put your hands on my wife. That would be a mistake. You don't have the right to do that. Not without some kind of proper conversation or something like that. Even with the proper conversation. That's a quick 2-piece right there. You might get to taste these Timberlands. Famila writes, a Family Dollar manager grabbed my aunt saying she stole something. She went off, called the police, and they told her, well, ma'am, this store has a lot of thefts. See, that's what it's coming down to. It's these damn addicts, man. You know, drugs messed up the game for everybody. It really did. There's no trust anymore because of drugs. Used to be you could predict the kind of crimes that people was going to do. Used to be that there was a certain threshold to the nonsense that people would do. With drugs, that thirsty drug mentality, man, people have done everything. People have come home from vacation. There's no copper in their damn house anymore. No copper pipes. People have purchased commercial properties like, yeah, we coming up. We're going to start a business. Okay. And then they go away for a week and come back and there's no copper in the entire place because addicts have stolen it. People do stuff like that. People do stuff like break into your car and steal an old Britney Spears CD and nothing else. The fuck? You broke into my car to steal a Britney Spears CD? I would have given it to you. Just put a little note in the car. Can I have the Britney Spears CD? And it'll be out there for you. I'll put it on the hood of the car. Happened to me once. Somebody broke my window. It cost me like $250 to get the window fixed and didn't take anything. I was pissed. I'm like, what kind of criminals are you? You're breaking windows and you don't get anything? Damn. Damn's the world we live in. Tracy writes, wish you tell us a story so we won't end up there. Rhonda writes, Nate, you are a public figure. They falsely accuse you, which is defamation of character. Sounds like a lawsuit to me. I don't want to take it that far because I'm not that injured. What I just want to do is whoever the manager is, I need them to understand that you cannot judge a book by its cover. I have met so many people in this city. I have met people in this city that when you walk past them, you wouldn't really, in most people anyway, some people wouldn't even pay attention to them. And these people are well-connected and well-loaded. Well-connected and well-loaded. You cannot judge a book by its cover. I don't judge people by books, by their cover. I don't judge people by anything other than the interaction I have with them and the conversation I have with them. And I've said it for years. People are like, oh, pull your pants up. That don't mean nothing to me. You could have a valedictorian. This dude could be on his way to the Ivy League schools, but he's got a SAG. So I don't judge somebody by a SAG. And again, I had an experience when I was like, I don't know how old I was, 14, 15, something like that. And I was in downtown Cincinnati, and my wallet was stolen. I was trying to get back to Walnut Hills. It was late at night, and that's a long-ass walk. From downtown to Walnut Hills, I didn't want to walk that in the dark. It was like 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock. I take that back. It was later than that. And there was like one more bus or something like that, and I had no money, so I was like asking people for money. And the only person that gave me, and this is a true story, I asked people for money downtown because I didn't want to walk that way. I was like, let me tell you the whole story. So I went down to this movie theater. Okay, it was on the Skywalk. That tells you how long ago it was. And it's kind of a funny story because it really speaks to my cultural naivete. So I'm not going to tell you all that part because I don't feel like being embarrassed right now. I'm mad. Not mad, but I'm irritated. And long story short, I went to the movie theater and I left my wallet in the movie theater. Gilligan ass moment. I know. Okay, I get it. But I ended up I was asking some folks and like, listen, I left my wallet, and it's amazing that when you're on that side of it, the kind of attitudes you get from people. Like I remember I asked a man, and I was outside of what was then called the Masonette, and I thought, okay, the Masonette, there'd be some people down there. Somebody would give me some money, and the dude told me to get away from him. I don't give you no damn money. Go get a job. He just walked out the Masonette. I'm like, damn, this sucks. So then, since I was trying to get money for the bus station, I went up to the bus station and, nobody had any money. And it was a panhandler. A panhandler. It was, dude, I had seen this dude, look, growing up in Cincinnati and just being around a little bit, I had seen this particular panhandler many times before. And I can't remember. Maybe I give him money, maybe I haven't. But it was a panhandler. It was a white dude. I mean, looked like the dude had never taken a shower in like the last 5 years. The whole traditional panhandler thing, right? And he walked up to me and he's like, what's up, man? What's going on? I guess he read me. And I told him. Dude reached into his pocket and gave me the money. I don't judge books by their cover. That was the last time I ever did that. I don't judge books by its cover. Dude, this is a true story. Reached into his pocket and gave me the money. Other than that, I would have had to walk, and I was prepared to do it. Damn, it would have been a long-ass walk. I guess I would have walked through Eden Park in the dark. But he saved me to some degree, and I was able to catch the bus. Never forgot that story. Ran into that same homeless dude several times after that. And I know for a fact he never remembered, gave him money every single time. That's how small Cincinnati is. So when I see people judging folks and I feel like I'm judged based off some damn stereotype, that burns me up. Burns me up. Angela writes, the manager was manning the camera and finger ready to dial 911. I wish they would have. Jennifer writes, Nathan, this is serious. You have grounds to take legal action. Maybe so. I don't really feel that way. I'm not thinking about legal action per se at this point because I haven't necessarily been injured. I mean, yeah, like I said, you can always say that's embarrassing when somebody stops you, but I understand that it may be a story in which they deal with a lot of that. I get it. Listen, I'm a very reasonable person. I understand it. I just want the people involved to understand that you can't judge a book by its cover. You cannot. You cannot judge somebody by what you see from them. You cannot. That would be a big mistake. Denise Milk and Cookies writes, hey, y'all. Denise, good morning, Denise. I'm all tongue-tied. She writes, Nate. Good to see you. Jesse writes, I have the app for my bank account. It shows all transactions. Don't you just love that? I love it. For several reasons. Number one, it helps me keep track of the money I'm spending because I can actually see it. Number two, that if there's any issues with services or products, I can cancel it. And number three, if I lose it, I've got it set up so, I'll get an indication every time there is any purchase. I love it. Denise writes, I work for Dollar General. I never detain people stealing because they don't pay me enough money to be trying to be security and the assistant manager too. Denise says that she's got the attitude I might have. You need security? You need to hire security or pay me to be security in addition to these other responsibilities. But some people, man, they go all in, tackling people, I'm not about to tackle you because you stole something for $2. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm a big guy, okay? So if I tackle you, that's going to hurt. I'm not going to injure you for $2. It's just not that serious. We got insurance. We can all chip in a quarter and take care of that. It's not that serious. Number two, and maybe even more importantly on some levels, I don't want to injure me. I don't want to injure me trying to tackle you for $2. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It just won't happen. Carolyn writes, get the GOTW, that store manager. Pat writes, definitely profiling. They're messing with the wrong one. Get him, Nate. Rachel writes, someone stole my car on my wedding day. What the hell? Damn, on your wedding day? Like I said, I get it. As consumers, you got storefronts. I get it. You got all these addicts. People are doing so many crazy things. I can't imagine what's going on. And I don't want to imagine it because I'm not one of those people doing those kind of things. But like I said, if the manager had come down, I would have. And again, I got saved an embarrassing moment because I didn't have the receipt. It fell out of my pocket. So I would have looked guilty as hell in that moment. And I can admit that. And in hindsight, I'm like, woo. But I had the receipt, after I didn't went off and everything. But I had. See, I don't have my receipt, fellas. I don't know what happened. The man that set me up, I don't know what I would have did in the moment. But I do have, as I said, though, even if that would have happened, I don't have to have a receipt. There's nothing legally stating that once you make a purchase, I have to keep this receipt. Don't have to. Now, is keeping a receipt a great way on the spot to prove proof of purchase? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's fast and reliable. I would recommend that you keep your receipts for a little while. That was my intention. I usually, those type of receipts, I look at them for a second and make sure I got charged for everything properly. And if there's no coupons associated, I typically discard it. I don't need a whole bunch of useless receipts. Fuel receipts, things that are business-related expenses. Of course, I keep all of those kind of things. You have to for tax purposes. And so this particular receipt, even if I had it, if this situation didn't happen, I would throw it away as soon as I get off the air, right? I'd throw it away early. I mean, as soon as I got home, I would have thrown it away. So you don't have to keep a receipt. As I said, if it comes to the point where you're in a court of law and you have to legally show proof of purchase, I can do that. And I'm willing to do all of that. I got the time. Let's go down to court. Let's do it. I got some friends down there anyway I want to see. I haven't seen in a while. So I have no problem with it. Again, when you always are on the right path and you're doing the right things, you don't have to fear anything. You don't have to fear anything. People are trying to figure out what store it is. I will not put the name of the store out there. And I wouldn't at this point, and I will not talk about the location. I'm just saying this is a real situation that happened within the last 24 hours and perhaps tomorrow. Well, it won't be tomorrow, perhaps Monday. See what else. People are trying to figure out where it is. $10 eyelashes. That's funny. Nate Rhonda writes, you saying that now, but when you see on your Facebook feed a post from one of those store employees stating we just caught Nathan Ivey stealing out of your store, well, what are you going to do then? Well, if you do that now, we've got to take legal action. That's a whole different level. And I can't imagine that any store owner or worker at a store or manager would do something like that because that would immediately open them up to serious liability. It really would. I can't imagine anybody doing that. But in these days, anything is possible. I would hope that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen, Rhonda. And if it does, then I will react accordingly, whatever that is. Why am I telling you this? Number one is something that just happened to me recently, and I think it's a kind of unique story. Number two, unfortunately, it's not that much of a unique story for African Americans, people of color, within this city, within this county, within this state, within this country, within this universe, within this reality. And, I think it's on some level just a wake-up call for all of us, just to make sure that, we're not judging people by how they necessarily look. I think, again, there are people out there who you have no idea their experiences. You have no idea who they know. You have no idea who people know. You have no idea who people's experiences are. You have no idea who you're dealing with until you got a chance to really deal with people and interact with them. That would be a mistake on any level. Brian writes, the store can look up purchases by debit or credit cards. You were covered on all angles. Yes, I know I was. Iona writes, Nathan, he probably knew you didn't have the receipt. He probably had it. Iona, and good morning to you. Yeah, I thought the same thing, because the only place I didn't throw the receipt away, it must have fell on the ground or is back at that particular self-checkout. So I had that in my mind when I was talking with security guard, and it enraged me even more. Don't come out here and ask me for a receipt and you just watched it fall out of my pocket. I'm not your child. I don't want to play childish games with grown folks. Don't play with grown folks like that. I wouldn't do that. If I was a security guard and I saw somebody, it dropped out of their pocket, I would get the security. I would get it and go take it to them. Like, hey, is this yours? And you pat yourself down. Oh, thanks, man, Mr. Security Guard. That's what I would have done. And if I'm a store manager, listen, let's be real here. If you're the store manager, that's your job. Your job is part of making sure people ain't stealing stuff. I get it. But I also believe in the old-fashioned face-to-face way of dealing with things. Some things should be done face-to-face. And if you're going to accuse somebody of stealing something, then you come down here and you talk about why you feel that way. He could have said, well, listen, man, bro, you got this big coat on. And he said he was watching on the monitor and he couldn't really see. And of course I would have said, well, why are you watching me on the monitor? But I think there's a better way of handling things. And for me, the best way to handle things is just to be straight up, be honest. You don't have to be confrontational, but just to be straight up about it. Sir, listen, the security guard could have came up to me and said, listen, hey, sir, listen. I know you was in the store. For whatever reason, the manager wants me to stop you. Okay, so I know you were in the store. Could you do me a favor, please? Can I see your receipt? That way I can show him and you can go on about your way. Now, you don't have to do that, sir. Now, see how much different that is than, do you have a receipt? Were you in the store? The hell do I look like? You're going to get a similar response. Didn't you just see me in the store? Is what I told him. Look at me. I'm 6'4". How'd you miss me? Bro, I saw you. Well, then if you saw me, Mr. Security Guard, why are you here? So I think it's all about how you deal with things. Even if it's the what is the same, like if the facts or whatever the core of what you're trying to convey can be the same, but how you say it, especially to grown men, is different. It's different. Iona writes, he was just messing with you. Well, I'm not in the mood to mess. Not like that. Andrew writes, I used to work at Tri-County back before it became a ghost town and regularly saw security run out to Springfield Pike chasing cars. Well, maybe they got a lot of folks that's stealing. I get it. Security guards, he got to do their jobs. Listen, he was doing his job. I definitely get them now. He was doing his job. But my thing is you just said to me, you saw me walk out. You know I was in the store. The manager calls you and says, hey, that tall black guy with the blue coat on, did he pay for his purchases? He should have said, yeah, he was in the store. I saw him over there. But he couldn't say that because he was talking. He was having these social conversations with people. I observe all things at all times. I'm a very observant individual. So I saw the security guard. I thought to myself, this Negro over here talking. I thought that to myself. Instead of being on top of his job. But again, not to transfer any blame. I'm not talking about lawsuits. We're not there at that point. I'm just conveying to you a situation that happened to me recently. And if you've had a similar experience, just connecting with you. Listen, I want to say thank you very much to Serenthia for coming on the show today. I loved it. I did. And then, just talking about her growing up in the city and how she came to find the show. I thought it was very, very interesting. So I'm going to put that interview up or that conversation up on my website so people can check it out. And I want to do this quarterly. Quarterly, should I say. Angela writes, Hero of the Week is the National Park Superintendent that accepted Trump's donated first quarter salary. And people are asking me what store it is. At this point, I just don't feel comfortable doing that. I mean, I'm just very concerned about the platform. There are numerous folks that listen to this program who are very well connected, and I just understand what that really means. So I'm not afraid to share with you. And it may even seem odd that on some levels it seems like I'm trying to protect these people that may have disrespected me. It's not that at all. It's just that I take things very, very seriously. And I understand the power of media very well. Very well. So perhaps over the weekend I'll let you know where it was, what went down. We'll just say there's some very smart people inside the chop shop. I'm reading through some of the comments. Y'all are. Listen, thank you so much. Thank you to Serenthia. Thank you to my patrons. All you got to do if you're interested, like, man, how do I qualify for this? How can I be involved? Just go to my website, NathanIvy.com. For all of the other patrons on that level, and you know who your names are. I don't have to put your names out there. I am in the process of making up some really cool, one-of-a-kind, collector's editions Nathan Ivy t-shirts. Throughout all of the years I've been in radio, I've never made any t-shirts. These will be the first ever Nathan Ivy show, one of a kind. I'm only going to make a limited amount of them for several reasons. One, I'm going to put some expense into it. I want to be very quality t-shirts for you to say thank you. But number two, I want it to be a limited edition. I want it to be something that only a very few people have. So go to my Patreon site, and you can access it via my website, NathanIvy.com. Have a great weekend, and until next time on Monday morning, I'm out.